Hello and welcome to Firstpost. Today we have with us Vikrant Massey, one of the brightest craftsmen of the Indian entertainment industry, and Shanaya, who is making her debut with this Aankhon ke Gustaakhiyan. So how does it feel working with him?
But before we begin, thank you so much, for having us here, Lachmi. It's always wonderful. I've been, chatting with you every film I do, so
Yes.
it's wonderful to be chatting with you again.
So ever since its beginning of OTT
Yes.
and
Yes,
everything.
we were just talking. Netflix hot favorite.
Yeah. Yes.
No. Thank you for having us. And coming to your question, it's been very overwhelming, and of course, just I'm very filled with gratitude that I got this chance to work with an actor like you said, like Vikrant Massey. I don't think that every actor, especially in their first film, gets this kind of an opportunity where you can get a project like this and you can share the screen with an actor like Vikrant Massey. And I've said this to Vikrant as well. My father, the first thing he told me on the first day of shoot was, you're working with an actor like him. He's gonna be giving you so much. He's gonna give you so much energy, so much emotion that all you're gonna have to do is take it in and give it back. So I'm just very fortunate that I've gotten this chance.
Yeah. Vikrant, I just wanted to ask, you don't prepare for your roles. I'm sure it comes very naturally to you.
No, I do.
You do? You do?
Of course.
But how do you choose it? How do you choose it? Because preparation is a
that's
very common question that I've been asking. I'm not going to ask you anyone. How do you choose your roles? Because each and every role is so different.
I mean, there are quite a lot of things. There are so many permutations and combinations that go behind you choosing a role. But I think right at the core of it lies the question as to what does that story evoke within me. Like Shanaya also said this thing very beautifully. Someone else asked her, what are your criteria to sort of choose a script, or probably how do you approach it? So she said that, she reads, the first reading that she always does is as an audience. And I do the same. The first time I don't take narrations. I hate narrations. I always insist on reading what will be short eventually. I read it as an audience. If it is evoking what it is ought to, if it's ought to make me laugh, does it make me laugh? If it's ought to make me cry, does it make me cry? Does it evoke that sense? And then comes the other combination, which is like, have I done this before as an actor? Does this ring a bell with me? Is this a story that I actually want to tell? Is this something that makes me feel accomplished, or does it fill me with a sense of challenge as an actor? And then also comes the other part, which is the people who are collaborating, who you will be collaborating with on that film, whether it is the actors, the directors,
The team.
the team. I mean, do I really want to work with that director or that actor, or that technician? So quite a lot of other
The
permutations.
story also plays a very important role,
It
I'm
begins
sure.
with the story,
It
of
begins
course.
with the
It
story,
begins with the
since
story.
now that the story is a hero. With so many Bollywood movies not doing too well, and do you feel that, I hope this Aankhon ki Gustaakhiyan brings back the way Sitare Zameen Par brought audience back, and a few movies too. But then not the regular kind of Bollywood movies are doing well, like masala movies, which people were... Do you think the audience is changing, has evolved a lot over a period of time?
Of course. If I may take this question, of course, yes. I think, and very rapidly, it's
Understanding of cinema, you mean?
the understanding of cinema is also partially because of our own exposure to international cinema. I think with the advent of satellite television, especially with the advent of digitization, the digital platforms, I think our exposure to international cinema has exploded beyond our own imagination. For example, there are people in my team, in my staff rather, who never in their life, before the advent of OTT, were ever interested in watching a Hollywood film. But today, because of regional cinema, because of access on their mobile phones, they are able to watch everything in the language of their choice. So they've seen all the Avenger movies, they've seen all the superhero movies in the language of their choice. And so tomorrow, when I go out and make a film, which, for example, if it's an action film, the action has to be at par with what they are seeing. And if I'm not doing the action right, they pull me up saying कि अरे आपका VFX तो बहुत ही खराब.
Exactly.
right? And we've seen that happen in the past.
Yeah.
So our exposure has really widened our own horizons. We see things in a very different light. And as I said, it's changing very rapidly. Something that, and that's the nature of life today, if you actually see, Lachmi, that by the time you probably prepare yourself to adapt to a trend, by the time you have adapted to that trend is redundant.
Yeah.
And everything is
There is
changed.
no trend as such.
Yeah,
there is
but
no trend.
I mean, there are certain trends. Like, for example,
certain things were doing very well.
yeah, and everyone wants to copy paste it, right?
Yeah.
And like,
But it doesn't happen. The first effect is the first effect. Do you think anybody can make another 12th fail? No. But then
I mean, that's
we
very
can do
generous of you to say that. But I think cinema, not just today, if we try sort of decoding cinema, we've had trends और दौर जिसे कहते हैं हिंदी में, एक दौर होता है, you know, हर 5 साल 7 साल में एक ट्रेंड बदलता है. अभी 7 on 10 films are action films because action films चल रही हैं. After everyone saw Dum Laga Ke Haisha, which was Ayushmann Khurrana's movie with Bhumi Pednekar, everybody wanted to go to small
the
town and
inclusivity
the
and
inclusivity in small town
Small
movies.
town, yeah.
Right. तो वो होता है. Back even in television, when I was a part of television, one Ekta Kapoor show worked, everybody wanted to replicate that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that is how
Saas
it is. We
Bahu
have a
Hai.
herd mentality.
Yeah.
Just to answer the question without sort of digressing from what you asked me, why are Hindi films not working? I don't know. I don't think I'm really qualified for it. But some are.
Some.
I mean,
I'm sure there is an audience for every kind
there
of
is an
film.
audience for everything. Like what Chhawa did, what Stree did, what Sitare is doing right now, what 12th Fail did, what a Jawan Pathan, of course. I mean, they're super duper stars. I mean, Shah Rukh Khan is a different entity
level.
altogether.
Different level.
Right. So it is happening in spurts. Why it's happening in spurts, I don't know. Why it's not happening in spurts.
There's a good period. Again, there is a lull period. Then again, it picks up. Again, then we keep waiting for the best day. I think this pattern, there's a
Actually,
pattern.
nobody knows. Nobody knows. Anybody who claims to know is probably taking you for a ride. Actually, nobody knows what's working, why. Similarly, I don't know, but there is hope. You hope to make a good film with all sincerity, quality cinema, maybe sort of tell a story which represents the common man. Maybe the common man wants to see himself or herself there, and you can only attempt. You can only go out there with all sincerity to go tell a good story, to engage the audiences, to probably be the voice of the voiceless, in case in point being 12th Fail. You know, nobody anticipated the film to do so well, you know, but it did.
But it did.
It did. And nobody knows why. I don't have an answer. Why did 12th Fail work in the year of animals and Jawans and Pathans? It still did. I don't have an answer to that. But maybe I think it represented the common people at large.
The common man.
Coming
and it
back
was
to-
a very different concept. And it gave a lot of hope.
Yeah.
It gave a lot of
We
hope.
give a lot of hope. And we aspire to do this, achieve the same through Aankhon Ki Gustaakhiyan. You know, we aspire to sort of bring back the old world Bollywood classic romantic genre back. You know, where there are where it's a love story of two people. Love is one of the most beautiful emotions we've all experienced at least once in our life. We hope that the audiences come back to theaters to watch a love story. You know, it's Shanaya's debut. You know, I really deep down pray that the audiences love her as much as she deserves to be. There are good
sure they
songs
will.
in the film. Yeah, there are good
You're in
songs
good
in the
hands.
film.
Yes, of course.
And not just me. I think
And the whole team.
the whole team. Yeah, so we are hopeful. You know, we are also very hopeful. We're keeping our fingers crossed. We want the audiences to come and enjoy our film. It's a clean film. There's no violence in the film. There's no action in the film. It's a pure love story. It's a first-time actor. Go out there, support her, and listen to the lovely songs and feel the love. Yeah.
Shanaya, what was your preparation for this role?
My preparation.
Since you're playing a person
Yes.
who is blind.
Yes.
Those movements, the gaits, how did you do that?
Yeah, of course. I think when I first heard the script, of course, I instantly felt the goosebumps because the story is very different. It's a very pure and honest love story. And when I was hearing it, when I was reading it also for the first time, I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about life, and I learned a lot about the changes that I want to bring to myself after I read the script, and I feel that's a very you don't really feel that with a lot of films, when you actually learn something. So the story in itself is a lot, and it was very overwhelming, and I instantly knew the second I heard it that okay, this is going to be a challenge, and it was a very intimidating feeling. But I think that as a new actor, I thought that this is this opportunity for me to take on this challenge, and I think that's what's exciting. And I knew for me to earn my place in this industry and earn the audience's acceptance, for any young or any aspiring actor, you have to put in a lot of hard work. You have to put in all that you've got in you, and that's exactly what I did. I really worked a lot on my craft, and I have been for quite some time now. But specifically coming to this role, I did a workshop with Rachit Singh for over a course of 10 days, where as an actor, I felt it was very, very important for Shanaya to get comfortable with the blindfold on before Sabha plays, before I start playing Sabha, because Sabha may or may not be comfortable with the blindfold, that we'll see in the film. But as Shanaya, I have to get comfortable so that I can play Sabha the way, whichever way my director wants me to. And for that to happen, I had to spend a lot of time with the blindfold on, just doing everyday things, which I did. Going to the beach, listening to music, dancing to music, going to my actors, my acting coaches, building the lobby and just roaming around. Yes, just
quite
roaming.
a lot of work.
Yeah, roaming around. How to get into the car, how to get out of the car. I've even once brushed my teeth with my blindfold on, because when you don't have your eyes, things kind of black out. Your thoughts black out.
Because
Your
you're
thoughts,
so used to the
your
thing.
thoughts get scattered, and that's exactly what was happening to me. Because over the course of years, I was prepping and doing scenes with visual cues there. So there was a give and take. Like when I'm sitting here, I can see how you're speaking. I can see your body language, and the same vice versa. And then you feed off one another. But our visual cue is there. But when it's not there, you have to rely on your other senses. So for that to happen, you have to heighten and you have to strengthen those other senses. So it's very important that you get used to working on your sound, touch, sense of smell, sense of just being present, being calm, breathing. How do you feel someone's energy without seeing that they're there? Understand that, feel that. Those were very, very important things for me to learn. And it was a challenge because in itself, facing the cameras as a new actor with Vikrant Massey is a challenge. And then on top of that, with your eyes not being there, and I'm not saying I couldn't see, my eyes were covered.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing. When your eyes are not, you can't see it. It's a full blackout. So you have to rely also as an actor on your body language and on your voice. And of course, over the span of those few years that I was prepping to have this opportunity that I did get eventually now, I was always prepping with all my senses there and with all my visual cues and all my cues there. But so I never really focused on the body language as one thing. But for this, I did. For this, I understood the importance of how you can communicate an emotion by the way you are communicating through your body language and through your voice. So those were very, very important things. And I think that I, especially because I was working with an actor like Vikrant Massey, I owed it to him also as the actor that he is.
So
that
all
kind,
praises.
No, really, I did, because I look up to him, and I think, I mean, how it would have not been a nice thing or not a respectable thing that I've come on set, not prepared, but not given my 300 or 400%, because he deserves that as an actor. That's the least I can do, because he's going to have to also feed off from me, right? Like I'm going to have to give him something, because it's a give and take. Whether I'm working with him or a new actor,
It has
you
to be a
have to
complete
feed off
teamwork,
one
and the
another.
whole
So I
team has to
never,
put in that kind
so
of
I
an
never
effort.
kind of wanted him to have that feeling that I'm not feeding off any of the energy from her in any of the
And
scenes.
in turn, she got me nervous because the first day when I met her, she was so well versed with the script. I was literally ashamed of myself. I'm like, oh my goodness, she is so well prepared. She even knew my dialogues. I had to pull my socks up. I was the one who actually went back home and I was sort of self-talking to myself, like, boss, ये तो बहुत solid
आसान नहीं
तैयारी
होगा.
करके आई है. So you better pull yourself up. क्योंकि, and this is the truth, and this is the truth, that this is her first film. She is going to go all out there like a tigress, and she's going to give it her best. You better give your best, because if you fall short, you can't afford to fall short. It's her first film. It better be worth her hope and her aspirations too.
Yeah.
One last question I have for
Yeah.
you. Both of you. You are entering the industry. He's there in the industry for long. What is this 8-hour shift? Do you think it's going to work?
Yeah, I hope it does.
It does, no?
I
It
hope it
requires,
does.
because you
I
need
hope-
time to rejuvenate.
I hope it does. I aspire to do something like that very soon. And in 8-hour shift,
And one of your tweets, I remember one of your social media posts went viral, saying that I'm taking a break, and everybody said, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
What am I going to
and
watch?
people misconstrued it as
Yeah.
retirement.
Yeah,
I
retirement.
was shooting during that time.
People who still meet me are like, "आप retire क्यों हो गए?" I said, "मैं retire नहीं
नहीं
हूँ,
हूँ,
sir.
अभी आ रही हूँ.
मैंने break
I'm
लिया
coming,
है."
I'm coming.
And I wanted that break. And I think
हाँ.
work-life balance is very important.
Very important.
I put that tweet out because I wanted to go back home and spend some time with my kid and my wife and my family overall. And it is imperative that we go back home and recalibrate. Not just as actors, as people. I think we are all running at such breakneck speeds. I don't know for what. But the idea is to sort of just go ground yourself and recalibrate yourself, find your center again. And I think that only happens with family. And coming back to your question, 8-hour shifts, I want to do that myself.
Yeah.
And I hope to achieve that. Maybe in a couple of years, I will go out there and tell people that, yes, great, I'd love to work with you. We can collaborate, but I would only work for 8 hours. But at the same time,
It should be a choice.
it should be a choice. And if my producer cannot accommodate that, I also
Because
really...
there's a lot of other things also involved.
Absolutely.
Money
is also.
Money is
so
involved.
I need to be cognizant of the fact that I would need to reduce my fee for it. If I cannot give my producer 12 hours a day, I cannot go out there and not reduce my fee. I ought to reduce my fee. It's a give and take, right? So yeah, I think it definitely works. And as a young mother, I think she deserves it.
Yes, she truly deserves it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And all the best for our cookie Gustaakhiyan.
Thank you so much. I can't wait for your review.
Thank you.
Can't wait.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube. English,
Stands at $36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktor,
Hindi,
$30 trillion ka karjo.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Sekali radikali.
Japanese,
4 兆ドル以上も
Portuguese,
por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select a language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. Firstpost.